Despite the spread of the Omicron variant, the war in Ukraine, and massive disruptions to global supply chains, the South Korean economy still posted on-year growth in the first 3 months this year. Growth was slower than the quarter before, though, because of a decline in consumer spending and corporate investment. Eum Ji-young has more.
South Korea's economic growth slowed from January to March this year compared to the previous quarter. The Bank of Korea reported on Tuesday that the country's gross domestic product adjusted for inflation is estimated to have grown 0.7% on quarter in the first 3 months of this year. The country's economy grew at a slower pace compared to the 1.2% growth recorded in the fourth quarter of last year. The central bank attributed slower on-quarter growth to reduced consumer spending and corporate investment amid surging inflation and COVID-19 cases. Firms spent less as investment in construction decreased by 2.4% and facilities investment also declined by 4%. Consumer spending was also reduced by 0.5% in the first quarter, with people cutting down spending mainly on clothing, entertainment, transportation, restaurants, and lodging. But one Bank of Korea official says consumer spending is recovering following the lifting of social distancing measures.
Consumer spending is increasing in April, led by face-to-face services, including transportation, lodging, and entertainment. Also, more people movement in general will be helpful for our economic growth.
Exports, which are the key driver of the economy, remained relatively solid, up 4.1% in the first quarter, led by semiconductors and chemical products. Imports also increased by 0.7%, driven by the rise of global oil prices. However, analysts say that based on first quarter growth, it would be difficult to achieve the central bank's 2022 economic growth projection made in February, which stands at 3%.
As long as there continues to be geopolitical risks to the global supply chain, the country's economy is likely to have low growth. In order to achieve the target, comprehensive reform is needed in certain industries. It also depends on the action taken by the new government.
Commenting on the first quarter growth in a social media post, Finance Minister Hong Nam-ki stressed that South Korea has achieved economic growth which has surpassed market expectations amid risks, including the spread of the Omicron variant, supply disruptions, and the war in Ukraine. He added that the country's economy has shown robust growth despite international agencies, including the IMF, slashing the global economic outlook for this year. Eum Ji-young, Arirang News.